Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's Michelle, and I've got another little painting that I'm going to have a go at today. It's using negative spaces, and the book that I'm practicing from is the Learn Flower Painting Quickly by Trevor Waugh. So I've done an outline of the flowers that I want to do, and I'm going to do my background space first, and then I'm going to paint my flowers. Now, I'm sure mine will not be coming out like this beautiful painting, but we're going to have a go. So, I quite often will do a background first, but I tend to do the whole background. This time I'm going to have to leave the spaces for the flowers and the stems. So we're going to give it a go. The paints that I'm using are Van Gogh paints. The little Van Gogh sets that you can buy are really lovely. They are great for taking outside. They're actually a really good quality, although they are probably not classed as a professional watercolor. But I think that the pigments do hold up, and for this practice in my sketchbook, these paints are going to be perfectly sufficient, and I would, as I said, take them out with my sketchbook outdoors as well. This set was called what was it called? Create Your Own Pocket Box. And it did actually come with a little brush and obviously the mixing tray, and it came with a swatch card. So the colours that it came with were a white, but I swapped that out for buff titanium. It came with the lemon yellow, the quinacridone rose, the phthalo blue, and the ivory black. So it came with 5 paints in, and then I have added to that. So I've got lemon yellow, cadmium yellow light, quinacridone rose, lavender, sepia, yellow ochre, buff titanium, phthalo blue, indigo, dusk yellow, viridian, and ivory black. So those are the colours that I'm going to be using. So for my background, I rather like this kind of bluey purpley background that we've got going on here. So I think that's what I'm going to aim for. So let's grab my phthalo blue, which on its own is a bit too much. So I'm going to add some of the quinacridone rose to that. Looks like we need a bit more than that. Phthalo blue being a really strong colour there. Now I've got a bit of a purple, and I'll kind of keep changing it, I think, as I go along. So we'll get some of this purple in. Now I've got quite a big brush here. I'm using a size 12, but it does have quite a good point on it, which helps. So let's add a bit more of the quinacridone rose. So this is really the tricky bit, painting this background. Okay. Now I'm going to add some of the buff titanium to it to get a slightly different effect. Let's go with lavender. Should I go quiet when I'm going round these flowers? Sorry, everyone. Let's go with, let's add a bit of indigo to that now. I've just done a splodge on a flower, but we'll not worry too much. One of my favourite phrases, let's not worry too much about this. We'll incorporate it. So this is definitely the tricky bit. Violence. Right. Well, let's just take a bit of the buff titanium, I think. Okay. Right. I'm going to dry my background and see where I am. Right. That is now dry. And I'm going to take my rigger. Let's get a brown in here. What have we got? Sepia. Yes. You will do. And let's get our stems in. Yeah. And I think we kind of want some more stems going on here and there. We've also got to get our greenery in, haven't we? Right. Now for my flowers, I think I want maybe a really pale. Oh, that one's darker than that one. And then let's make one that's even darker. But there, that's probably better. Right, I know not what I'm doing here, but I'm going to try with my size 8. I'm going to try to get some flowers going on, which, yep, this really isn't as easy as it looked. Perhaps when I get some little yellow well, let's just dry that actually, and then I'm going to get the yellow. Okay, let's use my little rigger again. and grab some yellows so that we can get some of these bits sticking out. I've lost a paint. I will find it in a moment. So I think that kind of helps. Right, let's get some leaves in. I've lost I've lost a paint, and it obviously has got caught on something. Yeah, you can kind of see my arm, but quite where it's ended up, I am really not sure. Right, okay, let's carry on. Let's get some leaves. So this one is the Viridian, which you really can't use on its own either. So we're going to add a bit of yellow, and I'm also going to add a bit of brown. And maybe a bit more yellow. There we go. Now I've got a much more realistic green. And we need leaves. How did he do the leaves then? Is that we're getting lots of these leaves in. And I think we could probably do with some lighter ones. I'm just adding in some of these much lighter ones so that we're getting a bit of mix up a bit more green. And I kind of want a bit of a dry brush to just get let's maybe have a go with this colour that's called Dusk Yellow, because it's actually quite a so I'm just doing some dry brush marks to just kind of add to this background. And I feel like maybe we could do with a bit of a dry brush again to get a few more leaves in. Now, I really do not like my flowers. I'm wondering if there's something I can do with this one. Let's use clean damp brush. And just remove some of that paint, I think. It just looks completely the wrong shape for a flower. I'm very tempted to get my bleed proof white out, which I am actually getting out. I'm kind of making a better shape there, I think. Right, now then, apart from getting this blue everywhere, which I still need to find where on earth it's gone, let's take our washi tape off. Please don't judge me too harshly on my first attempt. But there we go. I think some of the elements I've managed to achieve. Not so much the actual flowers. These are just wonderful. More practice needed, but for a first attempt, maybe not too bad. What do you all think? Is it, try harder, Michelle, that's awful? Or is it not bad for a first go? I'll leave it up to you to judge. All right, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.